Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Monoxide Podcast. Before we get started, I wanted to quickly announce the giveaway for hitting 15,000 followers on Instagram. I'm really grateful to have gotten this far, but I will keep it short and sweet so we can get to the episode. So, what am I giving away? So, for second place, they will basically be able to choose any of the photos on my page to have printed out as a 13 by 19 print. That is going to go to second place. The first place prize is going to be the same thing, plus a choice of one of 4 Fast and Furious limited edition Hot Wheels, which are a little more valuable than I thought they were. So, pretty cool stuff on that front. So those are the things that you're winning. I should clarify that the Hot Wheels itself is not a one of 4 production, but rather one of 4 to choose from. As for entering, here's what you need to do. First things first, I will have a pinned reel on my Instagram page. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to submit your favorite daily, your favorite track car, and your favorite show car. So be sure to comment that. Secondly, the next thing you need to do is share this episode of the podcast or any later episodes in order to be entered. If I do not see any notifications, unfortunately, you will not be entered. Plain and simple. So, to recap, basically, comment your favorite daily track and show car, and then make sure to share the podcast on your story on Instagram. If you share it anywhere else, it does not count. It has to be on Instagram. This only applies to the lower 48 states. I am not interested in shipping internationally, unfortunately, or anything like Alaska or Hawaii. As fun as that sounds, no thank you. So this only applies to the lower 48 states. And then also this giveaway will be announced April 10th at, we're going to call it 9 p.m. Central. If I do not receive a response within 24 hours, unfortunately, I will have to re-roll for first or second place accordingly. Otherwise, let's just jump on into the episode. All right, cool. Let's go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Monoxide Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Sean.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Sean, also known as the guy with the 1M.
Going to Cub Foods. So, today we have some special guests. This is probably our first out-of-state guest. So we got our buddy Charles, known as C4 Productions.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
All right, perfect. And Matt, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I run my own company called Greenfield Visuals, kind of alongside with Charles and C4 Productions.
All right, and then they got their own little friend who, honestly, up until 20 minutes ago, didn't know existed, known as Jacob. Tell us about yourself real quick as well.
Yeah, so my name's Jacob Rosen. My whole brand, I guess, is UnRecxgnized, and I kind of just met these guys by chance, and now we all work together.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Charles, like I said before this episode, let's get kind of started about how you got to where you are today, because you're kind of like a millionaire mogul, right? Or what is it that you do?
I wouldn't say that much. So a little bit about me. I'm 25 years old. I've been doing automotive media for the past 7 to 8 years, give or take. I would say the last 4 to 5 of those would be professional, quote unquote, air quotes.
I would agree.
I started out when I was 17, got my first camera, just started out as a hobby. And then I had always loved cars, as you do as a kid. You love cars and you love going and watching the races. And one day I just was like, I wonder if I could take pictures of cars. And so I tried it and I did, and it worked out. And 8 years later, now we're here. So, I moved to Colorado in 2015, and that's where I first started my business. And then I think Matthew and I met, 2018?
It was probably 4 or 5 years ago already.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, we met on a shoot. I just had him come out. We met on Facebook, and I had him come out to a shoot, and we just instantaneously became great friends. And pretty much every shoot after that, it's been either mostly just me by myself or me and Matthew. And then as of recently, we brought Jacob, Mr. Rosen here. We brought him in to the fold, and he's just a really good videographer, photographer, editor. Seemed like a guy who we could really utilize his talents, and that, we want him to build his own brand alongside building ours. And we've done quite a few projects together as of recently, and I've been super impressed with his work and his work ethic and all that kind of stuff. So, the sky's the limit for us, and we're excited to be here.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Monoxide Podcast, and catch you on next episode. So that's what he does. All right. So you guys like a team of 3 then? Is Jacob a glorified intern? Like, what exactly?
I would definitely say that
break down your duties, I guess.
So basically, I'm 9 times out of 10 I'll be the content, or not the content, the client facing person. So I'll be the person who talks to the client and like
point of contact.
Point of contact, yeah, if you will. And then these guys come in and they help me with any shots that I need to get on my shoots. And then when they have shoots, they come and get me and they say, hey, here's what I need for this shoot. So it's a very symbiotic relationship. I wouldn't say that one of us is a boss of the other two, or that one of the other people works for another person. We're all just a team. We just want each other to succeed, and we're willing to help each other get there.
That's good. I love to hear that. So you guys are currently here at Texas 2K. Are you allowed to disclose who you're working for or what you're doing?
Yeah. So we got booked by ETS.
Yep.
It's our first larger client at one of these events. We're super stoked to be able to be working with them. They had us come out for Friday, Saturday, Sunday when they're doing their dig races with Giddy and one of their other cars. I'm not positive on which other one we're filming, but we're filming 2 cars and just getting as much content for them as possible. And then obviously with our free time, we want to fill it with shoots while we're here. So we're looking around for high horsepower cars or even stance cars. We saw some stance cars today that we wanted to shoot, but we were tired after our 18-hour drive today, right?
Yeah.
Just a little.
It was
a little
it was
bit.
a lot. But yeah, we're glad we're here, like I said.
So I know you're working with that one. So you came here with TRC last year, though, right?
I did, yeah. So I've been to the last 2 TX2Ks, and I'm a contractor for that racing channel, TRC, if you guys have heard of it. We're a YouTube channel. We have about 1.6 million subscribers, a couple 100 million views on the channel. I'm very proud to say that I've helped contribute to a good portion of those, but I just want to say shout out to Javier for taking a chance on a kid like me. And he really saw one of my videos and said, hey, do you want to come and try this out and see if it works? And I said, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. And it's been 2 years and I have loved every second of it. I'm super thankful for Javier for taking a chance on me and then also taking a chance on these guys as well, because they've come in and helped me on a lot of my shoots. And I think the work speaks for itself. The videos speak for themselves. I think we produce a really good really good content for the people that we work for. And I'm just really, really happy that I have these guys help me out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually started talking to you through Matt first. I can't remember what.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because we were coming out for the rally, and I wanted to get to know the people of Colorado, because this is like a foreign land to me. So I was like trying to reach out to some of the locals, and then we just kind of started chatting about how this rally was coming to town, and we'd love for you guys to join us, on the Colorado portion, and just tell us what's worth going to. I think we went to go grab tacos one night or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that was a good time back then. I mean, so should we share the story about what happened with the Jeep back on top of Pikes Peak? So 2020, when all hell broke loose on COVID, and plummeted our ticket sales.
The year the world stopped, as they say,
Yeah, it really did stop, but it was wild. But we still ended up going to Pikes Peak for Venom Rally, and we had a support car that was a Jeep Liberty. Basically, halfway up Pikes Peak, just before the summit, like right below.
It was like right before Glen Eagle, which is like the brake stopping checkpoint.
Correct. Yep. So the mid checkpoint or whatever it was, and that thing, it just broke down, and then you were the team that helped.
Yeah, I mean, like I think what happened on Pikes Peak, we barely knew you guys. That was the first day that I had ever met you guys, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like the support vehicle went down. We were on the mountain. There was no cell service hardly at all. Like it was just a whole laundry list of issues that happened that day. Like so many different things. It was raining. It was cold at the top. There was a whole bunch of things, but I saw that the Jeep had gone down, and I knew there's no way we're getting a tow truck up here anytime soon. But might as well try. So I did have AAA, and I called them, and we were on the mountain for 4 hours, 5 hours, or something like that.
5 hours, yeah.
Yep.
It was ridiculous, throwing the cones and just being little kids. That's what we were doing. Is just acting like little kids on the
Didn't
mountain.
we need to get 2 tow trucks. One to get it down to like where that
Yeah.
North Pole parking lot was, and then wait like another
Yep.
2,
What an
3
odd
hours
rule.
for it.
Yeah.
That
What
was
an
so weird.
What an odd rule.
Yeah, it was weird. So yeah, we basically need to get a tow truck to the bottom of the mountain, and then we sat around, on our hands for another 2 hours waiting for another tow truck, because Pikes Peak it is a little out of the way, just a tad,
Just a tiny bit.
So, but yeah, eventually we got to the hotel. You used one of your AAA passes,
Yeah.
or maybe 2, I can't remember.
I
But
think it was just one of them.
Just one of 'em.
I think the guy who came first was just kind enough to get us off the mountain. I think he got paid or something, but regardless, I have 4 tows a year. It was nothing off my back. I was happy to help, and
Right.
and it forged a good relationship that I'm happy that it did, because we're friends with you now. We're friends with all those guys, and it was a great experience.
what a bold statement! Friends with you, I like it.
Yeah. Well, Harris's contact. Do you know what his contact information for you is?
I have 0 clue.
It's Charles, the nicest photographer in Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's nicest photographer is what it is. Yeah, because you're an absolute sweetheart. Like, you just got that what's it called? Energy about you. At least I'd
Okay.
like to think. But you do get a little mean sometimes.
I mean, I could be a jerk. if
you have a
want me
good
to.
angry
I
face.
could. I could just be like,
Yeah, it's
His RBF is insane.
it's great, dude.
you do great as an actor. So okay, tell me about something that you guys got going on. Like you said to Jacob, you guys had some crazy stories when you came in here. What is
Yeah.
that? I mean,
Should we
story
tell
time.
him? Should we tell him about the McLaren? That was a little.
Oh, the
McLaren. So we started out wanting to do this passion project, and I wanted to do something with really high intensity, sound design, really high intensity visuals. Like, have you ever seen the Pennzoil commercials?
Yes.
Like the last Viper,
That was the best
the
commercial
Ferrari, whatever. So I wanted to do something along those lines. And Matthew and I had been poring over this idea for months. I mean, we were sitting here analyzing the Pennzoil commercials, looking at how they did the sound design, trying to find any BTS footage that we could, just to figure out how they did something like this. Because we didn't go to school for any of this. Like, I mean, you went to
Well,
school.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you went to school for commercial photography, but like in terms of videography, I dropped out of college after 1 year. Like, I just couldn't do it. And so I had to teach myself. And you're Jacob's self-taught, right? You're
Totally. And
self-taught.
I'm still in high school.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. He's also still in high school.
Okay.
He's 18 years
Yeah.
old, and he's doing way better than I was when I was 18. So mad props to him on that. But,
What a standard.
yeah. But we ended up shooting this McLaren 720S. It shot a lot of flames.
'Cause I think I sent you the Pennzoil ad, and I was like, "Hey, I got this buddy with the McLaren."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Have you seen this?" I got it, and you were like, "Of course I've seen it." And then, Dustin, I was like, "Oh, he's getting the stage 2 kit and whatever. He's gonna shoot flames, and he's down to he can get rowdy with it." And so I think I just sent you that, and that's kind of where the idea started.
Right. And then we ended up going and shooting the car in this. I've shot at this location many times. Never had any issues. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. We can come out here. There's no police. There's no people. We're not endangering anyone. No one ever drives back here. It's just this 5-lane stretch of road that goes about a half mile down the road, and it's just really well lit, and it's great. It's a photographer's dream location for shooting cars. So we're back there, and we're doing all our B-roll, and we're doing all our story shots, and then comes time to mount the camera to the car, because we have a camera car that Matthew built, and if you guys haven't seen that, check that out on Greenfield Visuals Instagram. But we strapped the camera to the front of the car, and we're doing the flyby shots, and we have to go all the way down the road and turn around and come back for each run. And we've done probably 3, 4, maybe 5 at this point.
Yeah, we only got 3 runs in.
I think
Something
we
like
did.
that.
I think front because we flipped the camera around in front. We did some rear mounted shots, and then we got 2 on the second front mounted shot where he was sliding the car out.
Yeah, so
That's when the top came.
he slid out in front of us, and we're booking it. I mean, we're going 35 miles an hour for all intents and purposes, if you get what I mean. We're booking it, and we get down to the end of the road, and we turn around and make an illegal U-turn, and of course there's a cop with their lights turned off just sitting right there, and we're like, oh, here we go. So we pull over, and they turn their lights on behind us, but then they go and get the McLaren, and so we're like, oh, do we get out of here? Do we leave?
Yeah. And I was
What do we
driving.
do? And the 18-year-old's driving, we're
My car.
but the camera strapped on the front. It's not subtle at all. It's there. And as we're debating on whether or not to leave, another cop shows up and pulls us over. So
like 3 or 4 more.
We are-
yeah, and then within like 2 or 3 minutes, there were like 5 squad cars there. The
Yeah.
sergeant of the precinct came out and like was talking to us. I think at one point he asked us if we were the ones who called to get a video.
I know
of the
they
cops.
thought that we called to like get a better video and like have the cops there. We were like, why would we want to do that? And they were convinced. Like they were pretty set on us having done that, which didn't make any sense.
And I get it, but we're not going to waste the police time like that. We're trying to
Imagine,
not
though.
like exactly.
It
Like,
sounds like they were
911.
pretty bored.
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They always are out there. And then even now, like we just went and shot another video there last week, and there was a cop chilling there that was cool with us shooting there. So like, it was just the luck of the draw. We got the wrong officer on the wrong night, wrong mood. Luckily they let us go without any tickets or anything. I was very surprised they let the McLaren go because.
And I think it was because I was like, oh, we're making this for my college acceptance film, which wasn't true. I already made my college acceptance film. But I made that like 2 months ago before that. But we were just like, I just play like the innocent little boy and just like was gripping the steering wheel as hard as I could. And she's like, sir, you need to calm down. I'm like, yes, it worked.
I mean,
You can relax. We're gonna
Yeah,
be
I
okay.
know.
He's just white knuckles on my steering wheel.
It totally worked. It was great.
it was wild. but,
Imagine that phone call like 911. What's your emergency? Oh my God! I need to shoot a video with a McLaren. Just something ridiculous
something like that. Like yeah,
I mean, I'm not surprised somebody called in because this. I mean, if you've ever heard a McLaren 720S with stage 2 downpipes just banging gears
Yeah.
up to, we won't
It's
say
loud.
what, but
It's loud.
It's loud, and it was. I think the other thing was we're in an industrial area and it was echoing, and it was like it was we could hear it about half a mile away.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it was banging.
I'd
gears,
be willing to bet so. And backfires and all that kind of stuff could be gunshots. And so they'll take that seriously. And we were up in like the nicer part of
And they
town.
thought we were street racing, which is a problem up there.
Right.
Because
right.
so
The HHR versus
the
the
car that
720S.
rolled
Yeah.
up. They thought we were racing that.
I think they pretty quickly realized we weren't street racing. I feel like that's part of the reason why they let us go.
Yeah.
I think if if there was another sports car there, they both would have been impounded pretty quickly.
Does Colorado have like strict street racing laws?
They have a task force that they just set up.
Oh, okay.
So I think Aurora has a task force, and then I think the State Patrol might have a task force.
Okay,
I gotta
I'm pretty
ask my
sure
old roommate.
Minneapolis, they also have a task force, but now that we're here in Texas, Harris was telling me about if you're just lined up next to each other and the cops will just immediately assume you're about a street race and they'll pull you over and impound your vehicles. They'll throw the book at you.
Yeah, I mean, TX2K is a different animal, though. Like,
Yeah.
Houston.
Well, I think it's just Texas in general, like, has a street racing addiction out here. Like
Yeah, I would say, in my experience, personal experience racing out here, it's only around TX2K time, especially when I have personally had issues with the police with street racing. There have been a couple times where I've been out, near Dallas street racing, and we've had no issues, and there have been cops, who pull people over and they just say, hey, take it elsewhere, whatever.
Yeah, they crack down this time of year for sure. I mean,
So this time of year, they will find any reason to get you for anything. I'm talking about if you have a tail light out, a headlight out, a blinker out, like they will get you for anything and impound your car.
You go over that white line just a little bit,
Yeah.
straight to
And
jail.
they're pulling in cops from 3 precincts over. Like it's
dude, it got hot. Last year was my first Texas 2K, and we ended up at some like a BP or a 7-Eleven next to like a mall parking lot. And the BP alone had like 40 or 50 cars there. 8 cop cars show up, flush everybody out. I mean, it's insane.
It's wild.
I love how you bring up the headlight thing though, because it just made me laugh. Because one of the guys from Minnesota, he has a headlight that works, but he also has an intake through it too. So it's like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's like a
wild.
fake headlight, yeah.
no, it's legit. It still works.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it. Like he had lights on.
Is it like a little like LED kind of in the middle of the turbo inlet, or?
Maybe I have to look at the.
I know
it was-
Megs has that on his Evo.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that design.
I know an R32 that has that. It's barely lit. He goes, well,
But it works.
It counts.
It's legal.
Street legal.
It's street legal. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a reason they call TX2K the Super Bowl of street racing. That's what it's become, and I think over the years, as more and more people have been drawn to it, it's become more of a spectacle than like a underground type thing. Because it started out underground street racing. The meets were super secret, and now there's dedicated Facebook pages for call outs, and like there's a lot more publicity on it. There's a lot more eyes on it. And I think that's a product of social media. And I think that's, to kind of tie that back into what we do, the space that has been created for us in this career path where we're shooting cars for a living, that has been opened up because of social media. You go back, 10 years ago, the only people doing that is 1320. So like it's definitely opened up the doors for people like me, people like Matthew and Jacob, just to be able to show our craft and to be able to show it on a larger scale.
Well, I think it's such an interesting time too, because I think we're like at the perfect point. We're getting all this gear, and it's like it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
and
insane.
It's getting better. Like it's getting, the price is getting cut in half, and the quality is doubling every year. And it's like, like look at these gimbals. Like, our gimbal's $1,000, but they just came out with a new one that's better for $500.
Right.
And it's like, and I love it for other young creatives, because it can get you can break into the space for a lot less money. Because 10 years ago, you had to buy a $20,000 camera, and you had to buy a Movi, which is $10,000, and that was the only gimbal on the market.
Right.
Yeah, I saw. So I used to have like a Ronin S or an M a few years ago, and I bought that for like $400 or something. I can't remember whatever the market price was. And a few weeks ago, Dynamic Photoworks put one up for sale for like $150. I'm like, holy shit, are gimbals that cheap?
They're really cheap. I mean, you sold your M for how much?
I actually still have
You
my
still
M.
have your M?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I love that thing.
I sold my
I'm not
S
getting
for
rid
like
of
200, because I beat the crap out of it, and like I
Yeah.
used it every
Yeah.
day for 2 years.
I still have the original gimbal I started on.
Wow.
There's a Zhiyun Crane 2.
Oh, rickety.
Dude, it's bad. I need a
Oh,
RS2.
didn't it break at one of the
Yeah,
one
the
of
battery
events?
wouldn't. The battery
like, it just wouldn't work.
like charge it or something. It was
Yeah.
weird. It's old. Takes 18650s. It's wild. So but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just they make an interesting point. The gear is getting cheaper, and that's also lowering the barrier of entry for a lot of these younger kids.
Oh yeah, our roommates just showed up as well. So, so we'll have them a little bit in the background. We'll see how it goes. But
Yeah, but it's definitely lowering the barrier of entry for a lot of people, making it easier for people like us to be able to do what we want to do for a living. That's a double-edged sword, though, because with more people coming in, that means more competition, which means more, you charge less. You have to competition and basic economics. More people and making a more saturated market is not always the best thing. Right. However, the more people do this, the more stoked I get, because I like sharing this passion with people. And one of the main things that I like to do is, help other people improve their craft. So I made this Discord channel a while back. I think it was like 2, maybe 3 years ago. And at this point, we're up to 170, 180 people from around the world who do what we do, automotive content creation. And we all just sit in there and we talk every single night. There's like a core group of people, but then there's other people who chime in all the time and they ask for feedback on their work, and we critique it, and then we show people how to do things in different editing softwares. And it's just a very, very wholesome, symbiotic place where it's just like everyone's helping each other. And that's my goal, is like eventually one day just to be able to help everyone just achieve their dreams of doing what they want to do, whether it be filming cars or racing them or something. I don't know.
yeah, thanks for the invite, by the way. Now that lost that in the fucking email.
I'll send you an invite here after this.
Is it an invite-only server?
It is, yeah.
So you don't just want to, like, anybody coming in?
I think the only criteria that we have for people joining is, are you a content creator, and do you like cars?
Okay, so should they reach out to you for an invite?
If you guys want to be a part of it, hit me up on Instagram, C4 Productions, C4.productions, I should say, because it doesn't pop up if you don't put the dot.
That's why I didn't put. That's why my name's just one word.
And
it's
you know
misspelled.
what? You know what? I tried for one word and it was already taken. But hit me up on C4 Productions, Instagram, and then also I guess TikTok as well. I answer messages on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. You can find me.
Yeah, you can ask him, and he'll send you a Discord invite if you meet his criteria.
Yeah, definitely. And we're very open to like new people. Like we love new people coming in and introducing themselves and just getting like into the scene, because like every single person in that group has the same mindset of wanting to help each other and then also grow themselves. So like if you can help yourself while bringing other people up, why would you not do that? That's my philosophy on it. So
100%, and that's something that social media was a problem with a few years ago, but it's kind of helped, right? So like, for example, like people would constantly drag you in the comments, like, "Oh, that's garbage. Why would you do that?" But now it's kind of like people have like drugged the draggers or whatever to where it's like it's turned into a more of like a helping environment instead of like this constant critique. I mean, it's still pretty bad sometimes, but
yeah, I mean, the internet and social media in general is a harsh place. It's bad
as it
for
should be, though.
mental health. It's bad for literally, by far and large, it's a horrible thing that has happened to society. I wish that my job didn't depend on it. I wish that I didn't have to depend on social media websites to push my work. But
You want to print videos, I get it.
yeah, I'd love to print, just flip books. I love flip books.
Flip books.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword, like I said, because it's enabling us to have the life that we want to live, and it's enabling a lot of people to have the life that they want to live that they normally wouldn't have. In the same situation, you have the people who want to be incredibly supportive and help you with your work and watch you succeed, and then you have the people who want to watch you fail. They want to watch everything burn down in flames, and they'll do anything to help that process along. They'll bring you down. They'll talk trash about you, and that's the downside of social media. Whereas I have an entire group of people who we've met through this Discord that are now some of my best friends, and that's the positive side of things. So like, had we not met through social media, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
100%. Yeah, and that's how we met. I think I started. You were actually like, you had a decent following back then. I think like 10 or 15K followers or something like that on Instagram. I think it might have been closer to 10, but
I only just broke over 10K recently.
really,
Yeah.
Either way, you were.
It might have been
big.
TikTok.
No, it was Instagram. I think maybe it was like 7 or 8K, maybe.
I was sitting around 7K for a very long time.
You were much bigger than me, and I was a newbie. With 2,000 followers. I'm like, oh man, I hope I'm as cool as Charles one day. So. But no, it's weird, because you've done some viral content too. So when I posted the twin turbo Viper, everybody thought that it was the same Viper that you posted because you shot with, what was his name again?
McRippins, yeah, Ryan Lewikowski.
Yep. I thought it was McRippins. Yeah, so everybody kind of got confused because lighting makes cars look dark or whatever, but all that fun stuff. But yeah, so I think shortly after that car went viral, then I posted the two-step from his car upstairs.
Right.
And that was, 5.5 million on TikTok.
Crazy.
It's insane. Like the virality is, there's a science to it. I mean, have either of the three of you listened to the podcast with Lex Friedman and Mr. Beast by chance?
Yes.
Dude, the way that dude talks about, keep in mind, he's about our age. I think
right.
23, dude.
Yeah.
And he's the most viral man on the planet.
I study Mr. Beast a lot for what we do.
Please explain in which ways you study him.
So okay, yeah. I work for a company called Motion Auto TV. They're another YouTube channel, and we do traditionally viral style vlog automotive content. So I am the filmer, the editor. I handle all the content on the channel. Lately I've been kind of taking a step back from that, but I still help out every now and then. But I study Mr. Beast on YouTube, and I study Mr. Beast on Instagram Reels and TikTok. And the man is an incredibly smart human being. And I think he's right up there with Elon Musk, and in terms of just pure knowledge and smarts, and just he knows what the hell he's doing, and he's going to go for it, and no one's going to stop him. That's those two people are what come to mind. And Mr. Beast has this thing where he has this little bell in his head that says, oh, retention's dipping. Oh, this video's still going on too long. Oh, this is, and I studied it, and now it's when I'm watching a YouTube video, I can feel when the audience gets bored. It's weird. And he talked about it in the Flagrant podcast. He said, there's this little bell that goes off in my head that says, oh, we need to keep this moving. We need to keep this moving. And, that changed my entire outlook on the editing side of things. It changed my entire outlook on, how we approach videos. He instead of filming the video and then coming up with the title and thumbnail for the video, which is what we do, we film the video and then we just kind of say, oh, what do we do in this video? And then we make a title and thumbnail. He plans the videos out months, even years in advance. And he knows the title and the thumbnail before he even starts recording day one. He knows exactly what it's going to be. He storyboards it. He puts all of this effort into it. And that is why he's number one, is because of the effort that he puts into it. And I'm a firm believer in you get what you put in.
I think so. And, you know, so I've actually spent a lot of time, especially in the last few months, I've been trying to educate boomers on how to use, you know, certain, what's it called? Like CapCut, for example, is the easiest tool on my phone that I use to edit everything. And I've, you know, and when I say boomers, a lot of the people I've been teaching have been anywhere from like 30 to 40 years old, which, you know, me being 23, that's a lot older than me. So, but Sean here, right?
I'm a millennial. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, Sean here. So, you know, he doesn't have he's just never cared to really grow his Instagram for the sake of growing Instagram. Because again, you know, he's just vibing, enjoying life. But there's something to be said, especially now that we're doing the podcast together. It's like, well, all right, well, let's share some of the Durango, you know, builds, some of the 1M builds. So I've been teaching him, like, hey, here's what you do. And I'm trying to teach the bell to people, right? Because, like, right now, even during the podcast, like, I can tell when somebody who's listening has tuned out. They've checked out completely.
Right.
Right. Or same thing with the video. Like, when I post a TikTok, if the first 2 seconds of it are just nothing, like staring at the grass.
Gotta hook it.
Yep.
It's gone. And even here's the deal, though, but it doesn't necessarily apply to short form content, though. It's just in general, right? Because, like, you may have seen this the other day. TikTok announced that they're actually prioritizing 60 seconds or longer. So you're not going to get paid on 60 seconds or less anymore, is what I believe.
Interesting.
No, yeah, they're moving.
So
they're moving towards like long form stuff again, and it doesn't like, you know, I come from such a film background. That's how I learned everything, like feature film, because that's what, you know, that's what I always wanted to do. And I've made I've made 2.5 now. I'm in production of the third one, and it's like, you know, the way I look at, like, you know, a lot of these videos, it's like an action movie condensed into 15 minutes of all the coolest parts. And that's what, you know, because people's attention spans are so short nowadays, but I think that's been going on for 2 or 3 years. And I think that's why they're moving back to long form stuff, because people are getting bored of watching 5-second stupid videos.
That's it.
part,
That
yeah.
brings up an interesting point, because I had a debate about this, and I'd like to hear all your guys' opinions on it. Do you think that short form content has had its heyday, and are we moving back towards long form content, or is short form content here to stay?
I think it's a mix. I think both are. I think both are great ways to showcase different things, and I think you kind of have to pick and choose. You know, do you want a quick little laugh hit, or do you want a quick little, you know, awesome edit of a car, or do you actually want to tell a story with it? And, you know, that's why I learned, like, you know, the build up of, like, you know, telling an actual, you know, for our videos, you know, we build it up and then put a reveal, and that takes like a minute and a half. And, you know, if you're not invested in it though, I think short form content, you can learn a lot from it, and how to put it into long form content and make it
For like audience retention?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's an interesting point.
That's a beautiful take. And
Yeah.
honestly, to be fair, it's like 95% right, but there's a 5% that's crucial in there. What makes more money, right? Because TikTok.
That's an interesting point. I will tell you right now, short form content is making more money.
But here's what I think TikTok's doing 60 seconds or more is because think about currently. First of all, fuck YouTube, because they add. I'm over here watching Whistling Diesel. There's 4 different ads through that video. I feel like TikTok might start doing the same thing. This is a prediction. Let's check back in a year where 20 seconds into the video, here's a 5-second ad or something.
Right.
I mean, I might be wrong, but that's my bell going off there.
I mean, that totally makes sense.
makes sense.
If they do that, I'm leaving TikTok.
I
Okay,
already left TikTok.
that's the other thing for me. I hope they ban it. So I was talking about this, like, people are like, well, what are you going to do if they ban TikTok? I'm going to celebrate, because all those people who can't use it, they're going to go to my Instagram. They're going to go to my YouTube Shorts,
No.
where, hey, it's one less thing to control, and I have this influx in users. So that's kind of...
I think that's an interesting take on it. I think that's definitely an interesting take, because TikTok has a weird algorithm that prioritizes viral style videos over everything else. And so it's a unique opportunity and a unique platform to get your content in front of people who would have never otherwise seen it. Because Instagram doesn't push it to other people like that. YouTube doesn't push it to other people like that. TikTok is the only platform that'll push it to people who have never seen your content before. They'll literally just push it out there and say, hey, what do you guys think of this? And if they get a positive feedback, they send it out to another group. And it's just like this big game of ping pong there. They send it out, what do you guys think? And they get the feedback. And that is what I think grows people so fast on TikTok. But that's also why I think that community is less tight-knit than if you were to go to like the YouTube subscriptions or an Instagram following or anything like that, where there's more of a sense of community surrounding a personality or a brand. TikTok has less community around it. It's more of just like individualized content.
Really, nobody's loyal to their followers on TikTok. Like, I kind of look at TikTok followers, like 10 TikTok followers is one Instagram follower for me. It's like, you know, it
Yes.
takes the same amount of effort to get that, and then 100 TikTok followers is one YouTube subscriber. It's like the effort.
I feel like that's a good, interesting ratio.
Yeah, because my most viral videos on TikTok, I did it for my personal car because, you know, I knew it would go viral, whatever, and I just kind of started making videos. My best one is a 37-second video with a 15-second opening 2 shots that are super boring with just text on the screen.
Interesting.
And it got 5.5 million views.
And that's what's so weird about it, because you don't know what will pop. So you spend 5 hours editing a video going, this is going to be so sick. Everyone's going to love it. It's going to be great. Gets 5 views.
Yeah.
And then I post a video of a freaking RX-7 revving and it gets 26.5 million. Like, tell me that.
It was a cool video.
Well,
It was great.
that makes sense. It's RX-7. It goes brap, 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 brap.
I mean, true. It was a 4-rotor with a turbo, and it was sick.
And it was redlining. That was a sweet video. I love that.
It was cool. Don't get me wrong. But I spent 5 hours editing a video, and it gets 5 views.
Yeah.
It kills motivation, man.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, so does that just make you think like, why should I put 5 hours into this work
110%.
and just standardize like maybe doing an hour of work or maybe less?
Less than that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. In the last 30 days, I put 10 minutes of work into TikTok.
Why do you
I'm
think
not
I'm here?
joking.
Right? I'm at Texas too. I told Sean this too. It's like I can put in all this effort into high quality content, or I could come here, film, 20 videos of SVJs revving and things going down the track. Well, here's let's do a quick experiment. So I just posted on 3 platforms of Billy winning Texas 2K, right?
T1.
T1, yep. So let's see. The first one here, nothing crazy, 1,500 on TikTok. If we go over here on Reels, I guarantee you it's not going to be that crazy. Like, nothing nuts. But the thing is, over the next few days, it's probably going to pop up. But this is super dirt cheap content. Is just going to events. Yeah, 2,000 views on Shorts. So that wins today out of those 3 platforms.
And how I haven't really expanded into YouTube Shorts that much. Are you seeing a lot of return on your time invested into YouTube Shorts?
I think you will you guys as content creators would benefit so much more from that. So one thing that I noticed is that the CPMs pay out really well.
Really?
Yeah. So that and I think it's a high-ish threshold to get into.
It's 4,000 watch hours.
That's for
That's
long
long
form.
version of the channel.
Oh, that's just for channel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for Shorts, I think it was 10 million views and 1,000 subscribers
Oh,
or
wow,
something like that.
jeez.
Yeah, but that's 10 million views in the last 90 days. So you have to have some things. But one of my friends, she said that her buddy managed to buy a Huracan off of 8 videos because I think the CPM was anywhere from $100 to $800 per 100,000 views.
Jeez.
So if a video goes
Pretty
viral,
good.
it's gnarly.
I mean, that means I need to get on YouTube
Yeah.
Shorts.
No,
I'm
I've
missing
tried
out.
it.
I'm
but-
about to start posting some videos right now
Well,
during the
I've
podcast.
gotten 50 views, 20 views, 10 like that's what I've gotten on my Shorts with the same videos that get 60, 70, 80K on my Instagram, and so it's that's kind of why I gave up kind of, but I definitely should get back into it.
It's different rules though. You do not want so on TikTok and Instagram, you want to have a specific audience. Hey, these people love Vipers, twin turbo stuff, whatever. Shorts, it does not seem to be the case. You just do #cars and Shorts, and that's what does better. Because I did my first video was the same anti-lag video that did 5.5 million views. It got 50 views in a week when I did my normal hashtag routine. I switched to just #Shorts and cars, and next few videos just a few thousand views. Because again, I don't have a following to push to.
Right.
But if you can already have an established following, especially on YouTube, let's say 10K subscribers or whatever, people who love car content, that will eventually kind of build up on top of that.
Are you seeing a lot of your subscribers watching more of your short form content than your long form content on YouTube?
I don't have long form content on YouTube. I haven't had it in years. But I do have it on there, and I do plan to get back into it this summer.
I'd be interested to see those metrics once you start.
It'd be
doing
cool.
longer
Exactly.
format.
Because and this is just me dabbling as well. I know it's worked to grow that bit because I've already grown my channel by 20%, which means
Hell yeah.
nothing with 200 subscribers.
No, but that's an achievement. That's something that you should be
that's
proud
a
of.
metric,
Through Shorts.
20%.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's 20% of 500 or 20% of 10,000. That's still 20%. And if you can continue that 20% growth, you're gonna eventually get to that 10,000.
Yeah, so since I posted that video of Billy, again, even though it's a small channel, it's an interesting experiment. So I gained 4 subscribers, which again, tiny, but when you look at how the growth of the channel's been, it makes sense. And even though this is primarily a car podcast, I think almost every single person listening to this has an Instagram that they're trying to grow of some way or whatever. and I think it's relevant information for anybody who cares about growing their platform. So
I mean, that's all we do for a living is grow other people's platforms and grow our platforms. And we don't handle like the social media management. We don't handle like posting or anything like that, except on our own channels. We just handle the content and the content generation. So, creating the content is half the battle. Knowing how to post it, when to post it, and what format to post it in is the other battle.
I think that's 80% of the battle nowadays.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah. When I run it, I actually run 8 accounts. Just getting paid monthly to post, and it's like it's so interesting because they're all in very different spaces, and it's I have like 3 primary ones, and one of them's like a small business, one of them's a tech company, and one of them's an automotive account. And it's interesting the way the interaction, because on the automotive account, which I've had so much success with on my own personal page, I post very similar things. I get nothing. On the tech page, I can get so many views with podcast clips. That's all we post is just podcasts, tech help clips, whatever. And on the other account, it's like, I get no traction either. And so it's like, and it people say, you have to post that Tuesday at 9:07 a.m. And it's like, that's not,
I think
true.
The whole posting times of day is kind of a farce or a hoax or whatever. Yeah. I don't think it really matters.
I think it matters. Like I think at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is prime. I think that's important.
You don't want to post at like 1 a.m., right? Like,
yeah,
you don't want
right,
to post
exactly.
then.
Well, unless your viewership is in the UK.
Right, and that may be the case. I mean,
right, and that changes it.
I think it just comes down to your personal audience. Like, who is watching your stuff? When are they active? When are they not? Like, just pay attention to your own metrics. Pay attention to your own insights. Like, literally just do what's best for you. Don't listen to really what anyone else has to say, because 90% of it's just hoopla.
Right.
Hoopla!
Because no one really understands. Like, does anyone actually understand the YouTube algorithm? Does anyone understand the TikTok algorithm? The Instagram algorithm?
Well, once you do, they change it.
Mr. Beast knows the YouTube algorithm. Absolutely.
Whistling Diesel's kind of picked up on it with his new
crushing.
kind of videos with the 488 and now the Tesla. He's definitely doing the Mr. Beast thing where he's planning these videos months in advance.
110%.
Because there's no way he had those buggy wheels made for that Tesla. He had those. He planned the whole thing out. He definitely went to a welding company who makes custom wheels and had the buggy wheels made for the Tesla so he could get a Tesla to put them on.
It wasn't overnight, not by any
Exactly.
means.
No, you have to plan for that. You have to.
There's no way that was just lying around in a shop.
So that also begs the question: how do smaller content creators compete with Mr. Beast or Whistling Diesel, who are spending millions of dollars in one video just to get views?
I think we've talked to our own content creators in Minnesota, and it's just about being genuine and just trying to have this being able to relate with that person.
Authenticity.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Having that relationship where you can kind of go I could be this guy's friend, and then you kind of support them because you feel like you're their friend.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's also, we have such a crazy access to knowledge now, so you can actually build a career off on TikTok, for example, or Reels. Because I've seen this with a number of creators, right? They just become news channels. Like, they take the world, sum it down, and they blow up. Same thing could be said for cars. Like, for example, let's take a look at ChatGPT, right? I could learn everything I possibly could about the Corvette platform, break it down, do all this research, and make content. And that alone will get an insane following at some point. Like, I think it's just easier to make, as long as content is digestible and enjoyable, I don't think it matters how much money you put into it. I mean, most of us, let's be honest, we started here for free.
I mean,
in some regard,
we had to buy cameras, but
right.
At some point, there's a photo of me with an iPod Touch taking photos of cars on Pikes Peak when I was 10 years old.
With resources you had already.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's, you have to start somewhere. And I tell this to Matthew all the time. Like, when we're talking about getting big production jobs or higher paying clients or more prestigious clients, we're looking at Alex Penfold, we're looking at Crispy Media, the people that got us into the industry in the first place. Because I started because of Crispy. He was my idol growing up. Watching his YouTube videos on H2OY and all the stance cars and stuff like that. That's who motivated me to buy a camera and a gimbal. And then you have we're comparing ourselves to these people, and they've been doing this for 10, 15 years, right? Alex Penfold hasn't, but these guys have raw talent, and while we may not have the same raw talent these guys have, we have the work ethic and we have the fucking drive to do it. Because if we can put in the work, we will eventually get there. You have to start somewhere.
Exactly. Where do you think they got? They might. I think we're all talented, and who's to say we're less talented than them? They just have more more hours. They've been doing it for because I've only been doing automotive for 2 years. I know you guys have been doing it longer than me, but it's like, you have to get your 10,000 hours in. You have to, it's repetition is going to teach you more than, any class can, anything. Just like go do it over and over and over and figure out what works for you most importantly. Because if you're not creating for yourself, then what's the point? If you're not having fun with it, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like I've said no to, bigger jobs that pay more just because I don't believe in it. Personally, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point too. Like, especially when it comes to talent and those 10,000 hours. So Sean over here got to witness my editing process for the first time where I was editing. So, again, you know me as a Viper freak. Like I grew up Mopar. So the first photo I went to edit today, because I haven't had time this whole week, was the blue Viper. That was the nth motor Viper at the track, right? And I went to go edit it. So I chose 2 photos that I, wanted to be my first ones out. And I started editing it. I got 80% of the way through, and I was like, something doesn't feel right. I had 4, edits, and I was just like, this sucks, especially being on this laptop. Like my colors are off compared to my usual whatever.
Right.
And you heard me, bitching in the background here, like, oh man, I can't get it right. And I just was like, I'm done. I'm closing the laptop. Like if I can't give it 100% right now, I'll have to come back to it later. And I think that's different to me compared to you guys as well, because I get to make that choice. Let's be honest, even though I make money off of photography, I'm a hobbyist. You guys are trying to make a career out of it. You have deadlines, turnarounds, all these different things. So you probably can't do that. I mean, can you close the laptop and say, I'll be back to that in a few hours?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best. That's the best part about what we do is the flexibility to just do what we want when we want on our own time. Like, yes, we have deadlines. We have clients that we need to, make sure that they're happy. We take care of our people. We have bills to pay, just like everyone else. But we have the flexibility to say, hey, I'm going to go get dinner with my family tonight. And, they live an hour away from me. I'm going to drive and have dinner with them. And I'll come home and I'll work at, midnight to 4 a.m. because I can. And and I don't know about you guys, but I'm a night owl. I work well at night. No one can bother me. No one can, do anything. I'm in Colorado, so I smoke, and I just I just zone out and zone into my work, and I can hammer through all of my work in like 4 or 5 hours. And when I'm just by myself, no one can talk to me. No one's bothering me. No one's awake to even think about me.
Yeah, the world's a little bit quieter.
Yeah. And I also recently moved up to like a really quiet part of town. It's been the nicest thing,
Well, and for me, it's like, I'll start working on one photo and I'm like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then I'll do it for like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. And then I get tunnel vision on the photo. So I move on to a different photo, even in a different car. And then I work on that for a few minutes. I go back and I'm like, wow, this looks completely different than what I was just looking at. And then I can fix it. And that's when I get my best photos.
Yeah.
When, if I just look at a photo once and export it, it never turns out right. I look at it on my phone. I'm like, oh, this isn't right.
The tunnel vision's real.
It's so real. It's important to get out of that, and that's why I'll edit a photo, edit another one, go back to that one, finish that one, and then go back to the other one and finish that one.
I'm glad you bring that up. Yeah, so and I've had clients ask me like, hey, how where's the rest of my set? You already finished this other guy's set. And I explain my process to him. I'm like, I love doing multiple projects at a time because it gets me out of that tunnel vision. Now sometimes listen, so you may know when I went out to California to pick up a Noble with my buddy Jeff, right? And I spent about 3 hours per photo on that, which is insane, at least for me, because I was trying, the car wasn't washed. I was trying to make it look clean. The bumper was absolutely destroyed, right?
Right.
To make it look perfect. And somebody got into my head at the time saying that I was not doing right by my clients. Like I didn't do 100% of the possible effort, get every spec off the car, which, I mean, granted on the client, that depends. But I dialed that back as of recently, so that 3 hours is down to, I could bang out a photo in 10 minutes, sometimes an hour if I really need to struggle with it, or even 30 seconds, a little bit of copy paste sometimes.
Are you doing multiple exposures, or you just don't going off of one?
One exposure, yeah. Here's the other thing, I can't stand light painting. We get mosquitoes in Minnesota. I'm not dealing with it. Last time I did it, I got this really cool Mercedes shot and it had lightning in the background. I caught lightning. That was really cool. But I went home and I was scratching my ass for the next 3 days. And I bless your hearts, the people who have all the lighting gear, It's incredible. We actually did lighting exposure with his weld wheels last week, and that was pretty cool. You know, it could have been a multiple exposure, and I know how to do it, but it's just one of those things. It's not for me.
Right.
See, for me, the time that I spend on my photos, it all depends on what I put, in front of the camera.
Yep.
Because I'll have these jobs, or I'll have these shoots where I'm firing like there's no tomorrow. I got infinite batteries and I got infinite memory card space. I'll just shoot. And
Thousands of
from
photos, yeah.
from there, I'll copy paste some global edits and all that sort of stuff. But when I want to make like a masterpiece, I'm sitting down on a heavy tripod. I'm bringing out the lights. I'm bringing out the color cards. I'm pulling out all the stops and taking, 10 to 15 minutes on just one photo.
Yep.
I've seen you take an hour on one photo.
Yeah. And then when I'm
I've spent,
editing
like,
it,
6
actually
hours.
makes it easier to kind of edit and crank that out a little bit faster because I worked out everything I was wanting to do.
In the first photo.
Yeah, in the first photo, like
Yep.
in camera. And I love doing that. I hate post-processing. I hate taking out dust. I hate fixing scratches unless it's necessary.
See, I like that. That's
Yeah.
therapeutic
See,
for me.
Yeah.
I can't relate. Fuck that. When people
Yeah.
tell me to get telephone lines out of a photo, I'm like, no, I like the rawness of that photo. I don't care how angry it makes
Right.
you. I'm leaving those telephone lines.
It's something that's it's more pure when you're when you're doing everything in photo.
I agree.
Because you can fake you can edit a photograph. You can make a crappy photo look good.
Oh, yeah.
Using
Background
post-processing.
swaps.
Yeah.
Oh, like Marcus Beach's
Yeah.
Lexus.
See, that one was actually good because you took time in lighting the car, angling it, and you actually had that thought of what you're going to be putting in the background.
I think that's very important is when you're going into a shoot, you don't just shoot off the cuff. You need to have like a vision for where you want the photos to end up beforehand. Now, that might not work for everyone. Some people might just go in, shoot the car, and then be like, oh, here's my ideas after everything.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I have to go in and be like, okay, I'm going in here. This is not going to be here anymore. That's getting photoshopped out. Here's my framing. Here we go. Boom.
That's been my biggest change in this year. So I knew something didn't necessarily go stale in the last year, but I knew that there was a reason for me to elevate my game. Wow, you just lift your glasses up. That looked trippy. But anyway, jeez, I'm sober. But no, I something got stale or boring in my game, and it just wasn't as exciting as it used to be. So I looked at what I could change. Right, I was like, I still remember this photo that Matt took about 2 years ago, and you shared this on your Instagram 2 or 3 years ago. And you kept zooming in, and it kept getting crisper. And I was so mad because I had similar gear, and I was like, "Why am I not getting this crispness?" So I've been thinking about.
Which photo was it?
I can't remember. It was you zoomed into a brake caliper. I think this is when you got a new camera at the time. I can't remember.
Was it yellow?
Maybe
It was the Corvette.
it might have been.
It was a C5.
Yeah.
Either
it was
way,
a C5.
Yeah.
I was so mad. So I've been thinking about Matt a lot in my dreams these last few months.
Oh,
I'm
you're having wet
flattered.
dreams or
I'm
what?
so flattered.
Because I've been thinking, like, man, how did that fucker get those photos so crisp? And so I've been realizing, like, okay, I need to put a little more effort on the front end. And that's been a philosophy change in the last year and a half. But in the last few months, I wanted to test it out, because I haven't been shooting a high enough, shutter speed. I should start using ISO more. Just, it's just kind of been a last priority. So
What are you shooting on these days?
60 Mark II still, same as a few years ago.
You and Jacob with your Canons.
Love that camera, bro.
God, is
Oh,
everyone here Canon?
No. Canon is. I'm using a Sony A7S III. Whatever.
Good.
I don't even care for work, and it sucks. It is awful.
Would you not talk crap about my favorite camera?
It is awful. I hate this camera. It doesn't work. The G Master lens doesn't work. It's out of focus 90% of the time.
That
It's-
sounds
Is
like
it the
user
24 to 70
error.
G Master?
It's what?
Is it the 24 to 70?
yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
It sucks.
That lens is trash.
I don't know. It's what my work
Don't
gave
talk
me.
about my favorite lens like that.
Sucks.
Okay, let me tell you. My favorite camera lens setup is exactly what they just described. Sony A7S III with the 24 to 70 G Master. Cannot beat it. Do not talk to me
It's
anymore.
sucks.
Get a
It's
Sigma
awful.
24 to 70 or the new generation 24 to
All
70.
right, I'm gonna put a bullet in your head right
yeah.
now because here's the deal. I did switch to Sony for a while, and I had trouble selling my Canon. Thank God, because here's the deal: the Sony is the best camera ever, and I hated it because it did everything perfect, but for whatever reason, and this might have been user error. This is where I kind of agree because there's a lot of creators out there that have fantastic Sony stuff. I mean, incredible. You're not one of them, Charles. But no, I'm kidding.
No, I'm definitely not.
But no, I'm kidding. But no, I couldn't knock down the editing process because, again, I don't know what their color science is or how it is. Whether I shoot flat on both, which is what I do, for whatever reason, I just couldn't get the same look. And Sony tends to lean cooler. My style is a little warmer. So I think it's more of a stylistic choice. Yeah.
I've always thought that Canon leaned cooler.
No. Cannons are warmer.
yeah.
Sonys are...
Cannons are warm in like green tint.
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
See,
Fuji's are magenta as fuck.
I've used Nikon, I've used Canon, I've used Sony. Sony's it for me.
I think so. And I think at the end of the day, it comes to preference and how you can edit because, dude, I'm telling you, the stabilization on those Sonys is no joke.
It's wild.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, I was...
Take a look at this
So
one.
I was
You'll hate
using.
me for this one.
I was with my buddy Zoomy in LA, and he gave me his A7R5. It was like literally like before they even had the software to like Lightroom couldn't read the files, but you could do a video, and we tested it between my R5 and that, and it's crazy how far Sony came with it, but it still didn't beat my R5. We were both shooting the exact same shot of this Porsche, and it's crazy how Sony is and I will say the quality in the A7R5 is insane. It beats my Canon 100% of the time, and I'm sure if I learned how to actually use that camera, I would like it. But it's the stabilization, it was just it was jittery. It was very, because they both have 8 stops, I think. I know mine has 8 stops. I think his has 7 or 8, and it's just but I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you put it on a gimbal. That's just handheld stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a wild world, but the point I was kind of leaning towards there is even though I have some really really good photos, I'll be honest with you guys, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. You're all better than me when it comes to the technical stuff because I just never put the time and effort.
That's why you need to join the Discord because we got you, homie.
That's why you need to send the invite.
You know what?
Yeah.
Just because you guys said that, I'm going to send it to you right now.
I never use Discord. I'm never on this Discord unless these two text me over text message and they're like, get in the Discord and we're going to talk about something cool.
There's people in there.
When we go out tonight, I'll show you some tricks with the 6D.
Yeah,
I'll help you get some.
It's wild. No, and I know this turned into a little bit of a dorky camera podcast, but honestly, I think when it comes down to content creation, I think a lot of people could benefit from it. Sean's usually my technical advisor when it comes to cars and stuff, so we never really touched on any cars. I mean, what can you guys tell us about the car-related aspect of what you guys do? Is there anything you can share? I know you're a Mustang nut over there, Matt. You're a big Corvette guy.
No.
Hey, you know what? Hey,
That's me.
Your shorts were fucking soaked when you were in that GT500. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, no, that was good. I mean,
but that was also a long time ago, and we're very jaded by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
how are you guys jaded? Okay, I've never understood that because I get being
You're young.
jaded,
You're young.
but I don't know, man. I've driven a Senna, and that's
You're
still,
young, man.
nothing.
You're young.
I don't know.
Nothing impresses me anymore.
Nothing.
3,000
Like,
horsepower Viper. I've seen it.
Just because you've seen it doesn't mean you can't respect it. That's how I.
I think
the only thing that would get me excited is a Pagani.
You can't get it
You
up.
haven't seen a Pagani?
Never.
All right, we're going to LA.
And then I'd probably get excited over a McLaren F1. I haven't seen one of those.
That's
Yeah,
dream.
I think that's about it. Maybe a CGT too, but we've
What
already filmed
about
a CGT. I don't really care about Bugatti.
What's your resting heart rate? Because you are like a a cat that's just like
160. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it depends on how much monster he's on.
Yeah.
None right now, thankfully.
That's crazy.
I'm a rebel.
how much monster are you on?
I went to a Mola and I went to go pick up my 1M, and the guy, the shop manager, saw me looking through one of the bay doors, checking out some of the cars, and he's like, "You want to go check them out?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're loaded with Bugattis, Ferraris. They got an insane car collection. But what really got my heart racing was the Lancia Delta Integrale. I walked past a Bugatti Chiron.
Yeah,
I went
Bugatti.
right past it, went to that, and I was just like, "Wow, this is."
If I saw one of those, it'd be over.
Yeah.
It's
and then
over.
I started walking back. I'm like, "Oh, look, a Bugatti!" I walked right past this, didn't even notice it.
Here's a great way to get this topic all in one little thing. Each of us go around the circle. We get 5 cars. Okay, we get a daily, we get a track toy, we get a tow rig, we get a show car, and then a wild card.
Can we knock it down to
Maybe 3?
Let's do 3 cars.
Three
Let's
cars.
do 3. What categories?
Daily, race car,
Show car.
show car.
You start, Charles. Let's go that way because I got
I'm
think.
starting. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, it's your idea,
Your idea,
jackass.
yeah.
Daily RS6 Avant. Can't go wrong. Just perfect dad wagon.
Golf clap
Just
around.
1,000 horsepower, easy, done. I would say race car. We're either looking at a built Evo 9 or Murcielago.
Okay.
And then show car, I'm definitely going with like a 80s Mercedes.
That was a beautiful face you did, by the
Yeah.
way.
80s Mercedes. It was.
80s
It's.
Mercedes.
I think my buddy Andrew Snyder had one a while back, and it was cheap as hell. It was like this E-Class, like automatic 4-door, just piece of crap. But he had it on like these AMG, flat face wheels, and it was slammed, and it was just. I think that is.
It
That's
was
I
it was a
love that
vino.
style.
Yeah, it was a vino. It was a moisturizer. I get it.
Yeah, basically. I love the VIP style. I think for show cars, VIP is the way to go. Low, slow, not a whole bunch of camber
Yeah.
necessarily, but like really, really tight fitment,
Yep,
really, really
it's-
good wheels, high quality parts, like just
I like it. It's perfect. I actually have a guest that I'm hoping to bring on this summer that is all about the VIP scene. So I'd love to learn more about that because it's an amazing scene.
Do you follow Mike Devine?
Potentially, I think maybe
LZ's filmer.
potentially.
So he has a what is that, a crown? Is it a crown?
Maybe.
I think it's a Toyota Crown, but it's like the old like limo style VIP
Yeah.
Japanese car. It's right hand drive. It's got like the telephone in the back. It's like 90s out the ass. But dude, that car, honestly, screw the Mercedes.
Another
That
Magic
car.
Johnson reference, by the way.
That car, man, oh, it's so good. What was the Magic Johnson reference?
90s out the ass.
90s out the ass. Yeah.
All right, Jacob, what do you got? So what are the three categories again? Remind us so I can keep thinking.
Daily, race car, and show car.
Okay.
So Charles stole my daily. The RS6 Avant all day. That's a.
What about your current daily?
So
Tell them about your current car.
Okay.
How about that?
My current. Well, that would be my show car. But
Okay, fine.
well, or race car. I don't know. I honestly, all three cars would be a 1965 or 1967 Mustang in some variation. Quite honestly, right now I daily a 1965 Ford Mustang Coupe.
Wow.
Very sacrilegious. I drive it in the snow. I do not care.
Attaboy.
It's very nice. It's like people get very mad about it. That's why my TikTok does so well because
I like
do-
it.
Yeah, I do stupid stuff with it. Realistically though, I think my daily would be some sort of newer. Like GT350, something like that, like a 2020 GT350 in that silver.
I'm so glad you're in a climate that allows for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Can I amend mine real quick?
Go for it.
Track car is a P car. I need a P car in my life. Got to get a Porsche.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
992 GT3 RS. That's it.
Attaboy.
That was gonna be mine.
You can stop talking now.
Okay, I'm done.
You're done. You're done with your talking. All right. Whoa.
Whoa.
Don't kill my son.
My show car would be it'd be very, people yell at me. They're like, "Oh, you're copying the Unicorn." No, I'm not. Because I want to create a 1965 Ford Mustang that is like the Unicorn if the Unicorn was actually built as a show car.
Okay.
Interesting.
The Unicorn was built as a weapon, like whatever they
Track
want.
weapon, yeah.
Whatever, and not even track weapon, just Gymkhana weapon. Quite honestly, it was so custom built. I want to do something like that, but with every, and I also want to, my biggest thing that I'm working on doing and finding, I'm either going to learn to do it, which I already have started that process. I want to create a seamless wide body kit that is double the width on each side of what the Unicorn is. I've looked at, I've looked at all the, I've looked at RTR's build diagrams on it, and, I'm just like, that's not wide enough. And so I want to go, so that's why my whole account is 65 wide. So I'm going 6.5 inches wide on each side. And so, but basically that would be my show car. Just be a twin charged Unicorn with, I finally decided on, an engine if I can afford it, an old F1 V10.
Okay.
I go twin charged on that just to, blow it out of the water and do some crazy custom stuff. Because I like building my own stuff. I just actually rebuilt my engine in about a month and a half. Mostly rebuilt actually.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you. I had to open the block.
I saw it.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
awful. Just because of one bolt. The camshaft bolt unscrewed itself because the previous owner did not put Loctite on it.
Oh.
So to everyone out there, put red Loctite on your camshaft bolt. Learned that the hard way. And my track car honestly would have to be some sort of hypercar. It'd have to be like a P1 HDK or something along the lines of that, or a Pagani Zonda.
Okay.
You know, something just wild like that.
Okay.
Sondas would be fucking amazing. And so your show car would be that 6.5?
Yeah, the 65
Okay.
Mustang. Yeah.
So, I mean, dailies are hard because I see so many cars on the road, so many on Instagram, and I would love to daily everything that I see.
We talk about this on a daily basis.
Oh, absolutely. It changes out every day. But I would love to daily a S15.
Interesting.
That's a good choice.
It would just be fun. You know, it's a car you don't typically see around because it's not, 25 years old yet. But it's still...
SR car? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'd leave it SR.
No swap or
I
nothing?
like
or
that choice.
Nah.
Okay.
Keep it pure.
SR? Okay.
Yeah. Track car, it would probably have to be like a GT2 or GT3 RS, something like that.
991 or 992?
992.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
All day
All
long.
right.
And I'd get it in that canary blue.
I was about to
Canary
say, dude,
blue.
you gotta
Yeah,
get it in
interesting.
blue.
You got to get that
You gotta
canary
get it
blue.
in
I
blue.
love that blue.
White.
No, silver.
Pearl white.
I like that white, but that canary blue,
Pearl
that
white,
holds a
baby.
place
Alright.
in my heart. And then the show car would be that Liberty Walk F40.
Oh,
Okay, yep.
That's a good
So
choice.
I love that thing.
That's
that thing
a-
is
that's a
absolutely
good one.
wild.
I don't agree, but
I disagree as well.
Yeah.
That car, don't get me wrong, I love Liberty Walk. I love the fact they did it to an F40, but that car was not perfect in my opinion.
Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen Pet Fred's LM F40. It's an Amarabo livery. It's the same thing, and it's a Ferrari car. It's just has the LM racing package, and it's just not wide bodied, but I think it looks like way better in my opinion. I
Yeah, the
don't
one
know.
that
I
was,
like
it
the
was just posted
you
on
know.
HRE today.
Yeah, I don't like the bolt-on kit. Like that's my whole problem with
I
a
don't mind
lot of
that.
wide body. I don't know. I think bolt-on
If it was molded,
kits,
would it be better?
Molded
I love
would be
molded wide
amazing, and that's
bodies.
that's why I want to do that on. I think I'm going to take my chassis and just do it. But I like the molded because I want it to look original. I think that's the whole point of I'm really into the hot rod scene. They'll chop their car in half and shorten it and mold it together, and it looks original. And that's
Right.
my favorite thing. When you can't tell, you're like, what is that? Because it looks right, but it doesn't look right.
Exactly.
And you can't put your finger on it. But if you see a bolted on wide body kit, you're like, oh, they slapped that on there. And and even if it's done super nicely, I love Liberty Walks. Like, it's my favorite thing in the world. And I think some of them look really nice. But I think if you want to build a world-renowned show car, I don't know if a bolt-on kit is the way to go that anybody can buy.
It's interesting that you say that. I mean, how do you feel about RWB then?
I think RWB
It's a hack job.
I have mixed opinions. The cars are beautiful. They're beautiful, but it's kind of like I like it more because it's one person doing it. I think that I think that gives it a little bit more of the art. I didn't realize how many there are 1,300 now. I thought there were
He
like
does
200 or 300.
It's like one or two a week, or one every week, or something.
Yeah,
like
that makes it less special
50
for
weeks,
me.
50 weeks out of the year.
That makes it a little less special for me, but I still like it more than Liberty Walk and God forbid Rocket Bunny.
Oh.
But
We
I
won't
don't know.
speak that name in this house.
Yeah, but I mean, I think RWB. I think it's his way of showing his art, and I think it's a great way to do it. It's just very expensive.
Yeah. 3 cars.
All right, so my turn. I'm married. I have a child. So
Okay.
for my daily, I totally agree. RS6 Avant.
Hell yeah.
That is the best daily car that I can think of.
Yep.
That isn't an SUV or a two-door.
Wagons are cool. Wagons are super.
I
cool.
love wagons.
Yeah, and I'm super sad that BMW has decided against bringing the M3 to the
Oh, the
States.
touring-
M3
M3
I
touring
would love
wagon.
one of those.
But again, they're saying there isn't a market, but there clearly is because of the ridiculous markup in the States for the RS6 and for the E63 wagons. Like there's a market. M3 just doesn't want to step on over.
I guess, yeah.
Whether that's just because of safety or
whatever the
safety third.
Yeah, the
He needs
EPA or whatever.
yeah, exactly. They just it's too much to change for them. But that would be my daily. For my track car, I'd do a Porsche GT4, just a GT4.
Okay.
I think that'd be perfect.
Good choice.
It'd be enough power for me to handle. Like, there's no way I'm taking a McLaren 765 LT around the track at its full limit. So
Right.
Well, why not?
Why not?
I mean, we're talking about hypotheticals here,
I'm not
you
trying
know.
to put
Yeah, there's no
$500,000.
limit on money here. You're like,
Yeah.
No, I know that it's not the money aspect. It's
Yeah.
a skill issue.
Yeah.
So I think with the Porsche GT4, that is definitely a car that I can use most of its ability.
Right.
And I'd get the most fun out of it. Okay. For a show car, I'm heavily influenced by. Last night we went to a car show and we saw a RX-7, and it was going brop 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 brop, and everybody around was following that car, and so that was like, that's a show car, you know, that literally drew in everybody. Just hearing the rotary engine. So I think you get a super clean RX-7, you get a sick turbo. Nice exhaust. You get the cam, everything that you need for that sick brop brop brop.
Nice little rotary.
Like an OEM plus kind of a RX-7 build.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
sick.
think-
I like OEM plus.
I
builds.
think my favorite FD RX-7 build is TJ's, the white one.
Really.
Yeah.
You're so offended.
Wow.
I can't do with the non-pop-up
Actually-
headlights.
Austeezy on Instagram.
Okay.
Austeezy
No,
on
that's
Instagram.
a good choice. I was gonna say Rob Doms. Like that's just like.
That's different though. That's not an FD anymore.
That's like Gymkhana weapon level
I,
kind of a deal.
well, the
almost.
Unicorn is they count it as a 1965 Mustang. The only thing on there is
It's
the
not
8
a
pillar.
Mustang anymore. I mean,
Well, hey, look. It looks like one. That's all that matters.
okay,
So.
if we're talking about like balls
I
to the
agree,
wall
I agree,
cars,
I agree.
Mad Mike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to go there,
Yeah,
we'll
okay,
go Mad
okay,
Mike
okay.
4-rotor. Yeah.
Four rotors are sweet.
Oh, I kind of want to change my track car.
Dude. We'll let it. I mean, if this guy can change it,
Yeah,
I can
I
too.
guess I
Four-rotor
can.
Mazda.
Yeah. I'm the. I
would
set the
love to
precedent.
take one of those things around the track.
Yeah.
That four-rotor Mazda.
The 4-rotor Mazda.
Yeah.
The 787B.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This has been tough. I feel like the kid that gets picked on in class to read next?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like right now.
No, you're
stand up?
Don't worry, we're all staring
all
at
the
you.
pressure's on you.
Yeah, you're the kid that sits in the back of the class, and the teacher's like, okay, we're going to start at the front and work our way to the back. And you're just sitting there the entire class period thinking like, oh my God, what am I going to say? And you're overthinking
Even
it at
better.
this point once it gets to like the 3 kids before you.
He's reading To Kill a Mockingbird out loud, and he gets
Oh
to
my
the page.
god.
Dude. Well, no, I'm
The
counting.
page.
I'm counting the kids in front of me so I can start practicing the page before it gets to me.
And when it gets to you, you still mess up. Yep.
Yeah, so, all right. This has been a tough one. I had to rack my brain on this. There's a few obvious ones. The toughest out of all these will be the daily. We will get there briefly. Let's start with the show car for me, though. There's so many options, guys. I've shot so
Right.
many cars over the years. I've been in so many.
There's a lot.
I've been around a lot of people, such as yourselves, that have done crazy stuff. But I think, let's come to this. I would do, for the show car, I would do a Liberty Walk Aventador, which, by the way, when I first discovered, I hated because it looked wider than a semi-truck. But it's grown on me since. And I would go balls to the wall. I would probably do, unsure on the color, but it would likely be
Which kit? Is the silhouette or the
probably the silhouette.
Okay,
I love
okay.
silhouettes. I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm not caught up to date on the Liberty Walk kits, but probably if like the other silhouettes I've seen, yes. Here's the deal, though. With that, I would definitely do some sort of polished wheel, or at least a polished, whatever.
Lip or barrel.
Now, here's the deal. There's a war out there talking about black versus silver wheels, whatever. I think there's a place for both uses. You know, like a white Supra, God bless their hearts, should not have polished wheels for the most part. There's some that can pull it off, but black just looks on it. That said, air jacks, 100%. I would, for a show car, I would add all the extra stuff.
Oh yeah.
I would add nitrous and never use it. I mean, we're talking, open it up, be like, oh, where can I put my bag? Nowhere, bitch.
We're
Like,
looking at Cam 2.0 right here.
Yeah, exactly.
what's that?
We did a feature on a 8.6 recently, Cam Cocalis. Check
Okay.
him out on Instagram. He's a 17-year-old kid who built his first ever car into a car that won second place at Battle of the Builders at SEMA last year.
He's my
Yeah. I think I may
inspiration
have
now.
seen that somewhere at
It's
some
the
point.
8.6. It's got 8-to-1 headers.
Yeah, that was so. Yeah, then here's the other thing. It has to be an art piece, right? Because even though it's an SVJ or whatever, an Aventador, no, I wouldn't chop up an SVJ. Probably an SV in this instance, because then it gives you more room to work with.
Right.
So yeah, you have to start doing like titanium exhausts and, really do some wild stuff. They're wild shapes that just don't make sense. Not necessarily a Bozuzoku build, but yeah, you have to get like the air jacks, which is inspired by my buddy Eric, who was going to put air jacks on one of his old Datsuns that he's building to be a show car. So stuff like that, a tasteful wing, stuff like that, So that's the show car. Track car, you guys know me. I mean, again, grew up with Vipers. I've been around Vipers. That's just it. And, if I ever want to, dial it down and do adult stuff around a track, it could be straight line or whatever with a slight adjustment. But I shouldn't say slight. But that said, it in my head, and honestly, color-wise, I don't know. That's the thing, because they have such amazing colors at Dodge. As for daily, I fucking hate this topic.
It's great.
Because it's so tough, and did everybody here say RS6 Avant?
No.
Only 2 of us did.
Well,
See, I mean,
2.5.
I
agree.
would
Two and a
have
half,
loved
yeah.
with an RS6.
Can we agree that the RS6 Avant is a great daily?
Yeah,
Like, just
it's
as
great.
a group.
Yeah.
It is great.
Yes, I think everybody
It's
here
not
can
the
agree.
best, but that's kind of what makes it perfect
It is the
because it
best,
does
though.
everything.
I don't know.
It covers all the bases.
It's one of the best.
Power, room,
Like, it's your
looks,
priorities.
maybe not
What are your-
off-roading.
safety.
What are your priorities?
Off-roading. How many people are taking off-roading for their daily?
I would. Listen, you
I
forget.
mean, like
If
you
it's
live in
like
Colorado.
road
There are a
off-road,
lot
yeah.
of dirt roads where you live.
Yeah.
And in Minnesota, we also have dirt roads, but for the most part, a lot of the roads are paved. And if you need to go down a gravel path, the Audi's still gonna be able to go down a gravel path.
yeah, and I'm not sold, because I love them. I do. There's a level of rawness that it's missing for me. But again, it's a daily. It
is kind of mute.
It is a little mute, and you
Yeah.
can wake it up a little bit. So whatever reason, I'm leaning towards the E63S a little bit, the wagon, of course.
Interesting.
But at the same time, after driving your Hellcat Durango for a few days here, that thing really does, it ticks my boxes, right? But at the same time, I guess, when we initially wanted to do 5 cars, it included a car hauler. So that at that point, you would add in a truck. So I guess if we had 5 topics, it'd make it easier to choose my daily.
Exactly.
So this is a difficult discussion, but I think it has to be German.
Okay.
Don't you dare say Volkswagen.
Yeah, I want a Touareg. No, I'm kidding. Well, they're all Volkswagen, though. I mean,
They
come
are, yeah.
on. The Urus is a
that's
Volkswagen.
But Volkswagen can't make a good car for themselves for like the past 20 years.
That's fine. They're
They
making
just
money
enjoy
elsewhere.
making cars for other people.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
There's a Passat.
the Urus is cool. I've been in one, but it's not a dailyable car. It misses a few boxes, like the rear window, dude. I'll
Can't
shoot.
see out of it.
Alex Choi took me to go do rollers when Gold Rush was in town in Minneapolis. He was like, "Who's this kid?" But I'm out of the back of the window of a Urus, and like I'm about to take my arm off because it only goes halfway down. So that's out. RSQ8, I do love it a lot.
I love those a lot
It's
more
basically
than
the
That's
cheaper.
just the Urus,
It's a
yeah.
Urus, but half the price.
It's a lifted RS6 Savant, so it's between that and an E63S for me, I think. So that's my 3.
You're single. What do you need a wagon for?
What you think I plan to
I'm
be
single. What the fuck do I need a wagon
You
for?
have a bunch of. You have camera, video equipment. You need
My shit fits in a backpack.
Oh, really?
I put
oh,
all my
my
stuff
shit.
in my
But you-
Mustang, bro.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I'm
just
over
like
here
wagons.
filling up my
Yeah.
wagon to the
Wagons
brim.
are sick.
Let's be clear here. Sean is the worst wingman ever. No, I need it for the boys, man. I
The
need
boys?
to.
The boys.
The
need
boys.
We
to-
could
you
all
need
fit
to
in there. We could all fit
change your
comfortably with
priorities.
massaging sheets.
Yeah, it's okay. For whatever reason, I've been thinking this the whole episode. Charles reminds me of a Tinder swindler for whatever reason.
What?
Damn.
Okay, first of all, I don't know what that means, so I don't know if it's a compliment or not.
It's not.
I haven't
It's
seen
usually a
it.
backhanded compliment.
It's a backhand account.
What is the Tinder swindle?
So the Tinder swindler is basically this dude who hopped on Instagram and he was kind of bamboozling women and getting them to give him money. He'd get them in love, and then he's like, "Oh no, I got the mafia after me" or some shit. Like his lies.
Oh, then he pieced out?
And then he would get a loan or whatever, and he would peace out. And here's the deal: he was about to get into trouble, but he's in a non-extradition country, so he's just chilling over there with all this money that he got from all these women off of Tinder. And Netflix made a documentary off him. But here's even though you're not a criminal, and I hope you won't be after this, you got this charming vibe about you. You could be my wingman on Tinder. Like you can, yeah.
Oh,
it works.
absolutely. I love being a wingman. I love getting my homies,
Exactly.
the dimes,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm newly single, so,
Yeah.
Might have to go hit a couple clubs out here in Houston while we're here for TX2K.
Villain origin story. Right
You know,
here.
we were talking about this. We've never been to Hooters before, or I haven't at least.
Hooters isn't all it's cracked up to be. Twin
Yeah.
Peaks is where it's at.
Yeah.
Listen, you're talking. This is Chinese to me. I don't know.
Twin Peaks, man. Let's go see some ass and titties. Don't
All
put
right.
that in there, please.
That said, though, I think we're coming up at an hour and a half here. Get back here and say goodbye, Sean. We're going to wrap up the podcast here because we try to keep it around an hour. We could
Okay,
talk for
cool.
hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can.
yeah.
We can.
I would love to do an individual one with you guys at some point in the future. Maybe not at this event, but
Come
we
out
will.
to Colorado,
we'll do
man.
it.
We'd love to have you out. We'd love to have you
Yeah.
at one of our events or
We'll take the
something.
McLaren out, and you can drive and
Perfect.
same
Yeah.
spot, yeah.
So thank you guys for coming on. So what do you think? Should we do?
Yeah,
you
so
closing?
we're just going to hit the outro real quick. If you guys just want to plug yourselves again or all your businesses or
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
Discords.
Absolutely. So you guys can find me at c4.productions on Instagram, C4 Productions everywhere else.
OnlyFans?
I don't have an OnlyFans yet. I'm thinking about selling feet pics, so hit me up on Feet Finder. No, I'm just playing. That's all my socials, so C4 Productions. And then you can also find my work on That Racing Channel and Motion Auto TV. We've got a couple other videos clients coming up here within the next year or so that I can't really talk about yet.
Of course.
But we'll be on some other channels. We actually recently, we didn't talk about this, but we recently just helped film a TV show called Banging Gears out in Vegas.
That's right. Yeah, you guys were there too.
So that was really cool. That's going to be coming out in the episode that we helped film will be coming out in like August-ish area, like late July, early August, I think.
It's gonna be filmed in 480p. Just
Right.
On the Reds, yeah.
Yeah, we just, thanks for having us on. I really appreciate it. C4 Productions, hit me up.
All right, Jacob, you're up.
All right, so my everywhere is unrecognized with an X instead of an O, and don't know why I did that. Came up with that at 3 a.m. one night with a friend. But
It's aesthetic.
It worked. It worked. But if you look up UNREC, it'll pop up. It's the only one that pops up for some reason, and it's a little, black and white ghost. But just like I'm thinking about moving out to California in the next, towards the end of the year, and go to film school out there a little bit, but also chase the car scene a little more.
Right.
And but I love traveling with these guys. These two have become two of my closest friends, and especially in the space. And it's been an incredible journey to get where we are, and especially driving 18 hours yesterday. That was
so bad.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I'm surprised my car made it.
yeah. I thought about bringing the Mustang, and I'm like, and I was like, that was a joke. And halfway through, I was like, no, it might have done a little, it might have been a little better.
Might have done better.
But I wanted to thank you guys again for having us on, and
Yeah, first and last time. Matt.
Well, my full name is Matthew Greenfield, so that's where I get Greenfield Visuals. I actually didn't know that I was going to get into the car scene, so I didn't want to choose a name that was kind of car, kind of centralized. But it works out. It's Greenfield Visuals on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, I think. And then you add .com on the end of it, and there's my website there. You'll be able to see my full story and kind of everything there.
All right, great. You guys know me. I'm 1MN Mopar on Instagram. I'll be trying to create more content with Texas 2K and maybe even starting up my own YouTube channel from all the content creators we've talked to. It just seems like it's not about like putting in money and hard work. It is hard work, but it's just about committing some time to do it. So check me out on Instagram. Give me a follow.
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of resources. I mean, the last 4 episodes, or I think everybody we've had in this podcast has been a content creator of some sort. So, yeah, look forward to having more people. And again, of course, yours truly, Monoxide on everything. Guys, if you did find some value in this episode, I would appreciate if you share it. If you don't like Charles, I get it. I understand.
No one likes me. It's okay.
He's got an
That's
attitude.
me. I thought that was me. I thought I was done. Like he's the nicest photographer in
Oh,
Colorado.
that's
I'm the worst photographer.
See, you're
in
giving
Colorado.
everyone mixed signals
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
I'm typical of mixed signals, but you know what? Hey, you know what? Sean is BMW driver. He doesn't use signals at all.
Oh damn.
Oh,
The whole way down here, I was mocking him because he'd be mixing. He would not be doing turn signals in the Durango. I'm like, you fucking BMW driver.
I'm going in and out of traffic. Why am I using signals when I'm swerving like that?
Dude.
Like that makes no sense.
Yeah,
I remember
if he's swimming, don't make him fucking signal.
it takes away from my focus. I'm putting all my concentration into driving, and I had a friend tell me this one time. We're going like we're doing the speed limit, but let's just say I'm going pretty saucy down the highway, and I'm going in and out of traffic, and I'm using my turn signal. He's like, "What are you doing, dude? Like you don't need to do this. You're already gone by the time they see your signal."
Yep. So funny enough, so on the rally that you thought I crashed on, or that Super broke down on, I was doing about $140 and signaling. So I'm that guy. I signal at $140, and people know exactly where I'm going.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
But yeah, that's that, guys. If you did get value out of this episode, please, again, share it. And just make sure to follow all these new and old homies. So thank you, and see you next time.
Thank you guys for having us. I appreciate it.
see you around.